All right, so reviewing this for information, this talks about just all the different types of geometric constraints. This comes off of the step one. All right. Oh, sorry, went to the wrong thing. Horizontal or vertical, coincident, tangent, equal, parallel, perpendicular, fix or unfix, midpoint, blah, 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 blah. Those are all the ones that you can do. You have to have a sketch created before you can do it. But if you scroll through this page, what it's going to do is tell you what the constraint is, what it does, and shows you an example of it performing that constraint. Do y'all see like this little symbol right here? And there's one down here. All right. So sometimes when y'all draw sketches, y'all automatically see those symbols pop up. Those are the symbols for the constraint and what constraint is applied. So if you see that symbol on your sketch, you know that there's a constraint applied to it. If I went and deleted this, this is the horizontal constraint. If I deleted this, I can move line from horizontal like this. But with this constraint on, you can't. It will be horizontal no matter how long or short you make the other one. So same thing. Another important one that I've used sometimes if your sketch is not enclosed is coincident. Coincident makes 2 points stick together. All right. Tangent. There's tangent. Equal can make things stay equal size. All right, that can be useful. Parallel is well. We hopefully we know what parallel and perpendicular means. Fix and unfix locks the size and location of things. All right, so fix and unfix can be good. Midpoint can be useful. Concentric, same center point. Collinear can be useful, so they share a common line. Symmetric, and then you can see all those. All right, so that's your general about geometric constraints, what they are. Now let me log in. Oh, it's wrong. Now I'll show you where they are. All right, I'm going to close the panel there. I'm going to close this. You're not going to see them at the moment. They have to be done in the sketch. So if I create a new sketch, in the sketch panel, y'all see right here are all the constraints. These are all the geometric constraints. All right. All right, so like I said, these are all the constraints. If you click the drop down, you can make sure you see them all along with the names. As usual with Autodesk, if you forget something, y'all, if you just hover over it, it expands, all right, to tell you about it. And then if you do the control backslash, it will pull up the more information so that you can get more guidance on it. Something as well that you might want to make sure you have selected in your sketch palette over here, y'all. In your sketch palette over here, there is a show constraints. Usually, it might not show up at the moment since I don't have anything sketched. But for instance, right there, you see that constraint automatically popped up since I've got this at a 90-degree angle. All right. So by default, they have it so that you can see your constraints. So here's our perpendicular constraint. Here's our parallel. Notice that if I drag this around, those two lines are always going to stay parallel and perpendicular. This one doesn't. I can take the endpoint and do whatever I want with it. However, if I come here and delete that constraint, now these move. So that's just kind of a basic introduction to where they are, what they do. When you apply constraints, let's say I want to make these perpendicular again. It's usually I want to make this one blank to that one. Does that make sense? And it might not, and that's okay. So let me show you. If I use, let me unselect the point. If I use the perpendicular, I want to make this one perpendicular to that one. Or that one perpendicular to this one. That might be backwards. Looks like I want to make this one perpendicular. We're changing the perpendicular there. So depending on which order you click on them in, it is going to move one relative to the other. Okay? Now, if you do it backwards, like I think I just did there, if you just do hold down Control and hit Z, that's the undo button, and it will undo one step at a time. All right? So that's kind of the brief introduction to constraints and